The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, the branded athlete, featuring in-depth interviews with and commentary on today's biggest and most successful athletes. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, the branded athlete.
Jumpman. Them boys up to something. Woo! I like that.
Like it's got a little ad lib.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to listen to this some
You
more.
gotta get on Jumpman, Josh.
Get up with your Drake infusion.
I know.
You can't sleep
I
on
heard
that.
of it. I heard of the album drop, but I was like,
We're jamming to
Right.
Jumpman. I like when Drake says, hit the DeAngelo with my left hand up, like, woo! Okay.
Ow.
Talking about Drake, rapping about Ginobili. This is the branded athlete, of course, your favorite sports show. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me at Erica Renee D on Twitter and on Instagram. And most importantly, you can find Black Hollywood Live at BHL Online on Twitter. Got Jill and Josh, the two J's,
Ow.
today.
I'm Jill Monroe. You can find me at Stiletto Jill on Twitter and Instagram.
and I'm Joshua Johnson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JJ the Talented.
Now, before we go into our show today, if you guys are out there watching live, if you are in Los Angeles, please do not leave your homes right now.
Oh,
Don't.
do it.
Don't.
do it.
This is honestly the worst traffic day ever.
I've never
Ever.
seen it this bad ever, and I've
Ever.
been in LA for
Literally,
a long time.
ever. 2 hours. It took 2 hours. It took me 30 minutes to go 2 miles. I want you to imagine that. Picture that in your mind for a second.
I'm right there with you, Jill.
Yeah.
And public service announcement: stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Yeah. Apparently there was actual Jumpman.
There was a jump. There was a
Jumpman. Off the, a guy was threatening to jump off the freeway overpass. Thankfully, they got him down.
He didn't jump?
He didn't jump.
Okay.
He didn't jump. He wasn't listening to the album, so he didn't jump. And
Just a bit delayed.
yeah,
It's okay.
But yeah, they got him into custody, so I hope they can get him the help that he needs, most definitely.
All right,
but
well.
yeah, that's what caused the traffic today.
Jeez Louise, Jumpman. Huh. It was a hot week in sports. Hot week in sports. Let's talk about the fall of Lamar Odom
From jumping to falling.
I know.
Did you plan that?
Here is the theme for the show: jumping, falling from grace.
What's next? Yeah.
Up, down,
Stay
everything in
tuned.
between. Yeah.
Stay tuned. Fall of Lamar Odom. He went from the sixth man to a sick man, and I don't mean that facetiously. Like, he really is a sick man. We know him most notably for being the Lakers' Golden Boy sixth man from 2004 to 2011. Had a very glorious career with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Won two champions.
Two titles, very integral part of those 2009-2010 championship teams. Stepped in for Andrew Bynum when he was hurt, and then when Andrew Bynum and Gasol were both healthy, Lamar Odom was that sixth man. He was actually the first Laker player to ever be named the sixth man.
With all the Laker history.
Laker history,
and don't
yeah.
forget, he was the locker room soother. He was the buffer in between. That's why he was such an important part of that team.
Evidently,
Chemistry.
he needed some soothing himself.
He did.
Because he's been in some turmoil recently.
Mm-hmm.
So as you guys out there know, he has had the week from hell. Essentially, he's had the week from hell. Was found in a Nevada brothel, unconscious, with white substance, reportedly, on his face, and with mucus oozing from his nose and his mouth. But thankfully, right now, the most recent updates are that he opened his eyes and said good morning, and he told Khloe Kardashian, "I love you, baby." So
That's good. That's positive.
Yeah,
That's good news.
yeah.
He's
Very good news.
advancing.
So I wanted to talk about what was the tipping point for Lamar?
I believe that December, was it 2011, when he was, or was it, it was 2011, when he was about to be traded from the Lakers. The trade was rescinded. That really hurt his feelings. And when he was finally sent to Dallas, do you remember him being on tears in the radio? I think
That was
leaving
tough on him.
LA, it was everything that he wanted in LA. His marriage, his success, he was on TV. It was all the things that he wanted to happen. And the business side of the NBA, I think, really took a toll for him.
Okay.
Because he was never the same player once he got to Dallas, and since then.
That's a good point. I had forgotten all about that. That was really tough on him to know that the team wanted to trade him. Eventually they did. And that was coming off of his Sixth Man of the Year award.
Yeah,
right?
it was actually 2011 because he was named Sixth Man, I think, in 2010.
2010,
was it?
2011
Yeah.
year, I think.
So, yeah.
So that had to have been really tough on him. I'm glad you brought that up because that could have been the tipping point for him.
I really feel like it was because when he got to Dallas, he had those problems. He wasn't really integrated with the team. Remember, there were those rumors of he and Mark Cuban having a shouting match when Mark Cuban finally sat him down. And if you remember, he and Chloe also had their own show, which was based in Dallas. And you could sort of see the change in him, even through the reality thing. I just think that for whatever reason, being outside of LA, whatever he felt in LA as an athlete, as what he accomplished, and on the personal side, it just, you know, when you have those type of addiction genes inside of you, sometimes they come out in the most unexpected way. And I think the business, it really hurt his feelings.
And speaking of addiction, his father, Lamar Odom's father, was a heroin or is a heroin addict. I think he's in recovery right now, or sober right now.
Yeah.
But I think that Lamar's tipping point, if you will, was even before the whole Mavericks, Chloe, I guess, part of his life. Because if you know, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or baby's mama, the mother of his two kids, has said that when their baby died of SIDS at 6 months old, that they never discussed it. And she has been quoted recently as saying that not discussing something so serious doesn't help your relationship. Yeah. And so when you have a father who's a heroin addict, and I know we all probably have family members or know friends who've dealt with addiction, and then his mother died young, and then you have a baby who passes away at 6 months old of SIDS or of anything, doesn't matter, like your baby dies, that's just the end of your world.
Right.
I believe that Lamar's abuse problems probably started before we even knew.
I think so, definitely.
And those traumatic experiences that he never really worked through emotionally, I think this all culminated with what's happening now.
You're absolutely right, because before then, if you remember, Lamar actually he played in LA before. He got drafted to the Clippers.
That's right.
Fourth, 1999.
There you go.
I'm a Clipper. But I'm a Clipper and a Lakers fan. It's complicated. We'll talk about it later.
But even with his stint with the Clippers, if I recall correctly, he did have some trouble with some
marijuana twice. He was suspended 2 times for marijuana use. That goes back to college. Part of the reason why he didn't end up going to, I believe he was supposed to go to UNLV.
Was it UNLV?
I think so, somewhere else. And he admitted during the draft process and the taking in process that he smoked weed daily. So it was a problem. He was considered sort of
is weed a problem, though?
I mean, not
if you
now,
have an addictive
but
personality,
it's illegal. And, you know, in 1999,
I don't smoke, but I know people who do it. Oh, okay, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, that could have been what started him down the path of, you know, kind of bearing his stresses and his depression and turning to substance for those kind of things, turning to substance abuse. And that might have been what started it off and eventually became a harder substance.
Cocaine. Yeah. and the herbal sexual supplements.
Like Viagra kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to throw this out there. Here's a fun fact. It's really not that fun considering the circumstances. But 538.com says today in a report that 617 emergency room visits per year are related to sex supplements.
Wow.
And Lamar had about 10 in his system, not including the cocaine. But before we go on to the next topic, let's talk about the Kardashian effect. Because people are trying to blame the Kardashians for this.
I totally disagree. Now, I've written a book. I talk about the Kardashian effect in my book, Post Game Pass, that most athletes currently want to be in these power relationships. Reality TV is another extension of their branding, extends their career. It extends them to another audience. Yeah. But in this particular instance, I don't blame the Kardashians. Lamar wanted that. He was shooting a reality show pilot before he even met Chloe. He was courting other, actresses and so forth in Hollywood.
Like who? Tell us who. Give us a scoop.
Don't you? Was it Taraji or maybe it was another? There was a woman he was trying to date right before for Khloe. He wanted that sort of lifestyle component. So I believe that Khloe and Lamar were really in love. I believe that it was painful for her to separate from him. I think that sometimes we ignore the fact that he was an addict dealing with some things, and that's a hard place to be in. I know that everyone has their opinions about the Kardashians. You may not agree with everything that they do, but in this instance, I don't think that you can blame them or even really, I don't think it's about them, except for the people that are making it about them.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of unfair to blame them, most definitely. And I believe that, when you're in the limelight like that, dealing with issues, you have to keep a certain public appearance. There's not many people who you may be in a position where you don't know too many people who are very close to you who can talk to and rely on without thinking, are they really here for me or here for my fame or wealth?
That's true.
And so when Lamar's dealing with things like the death of his infant child, other issues in his life, the addiction, with no one to really turn to and thrust into the limelight, although he wanted it, but could he really handle it? His grandmother seems to think that he couldn't handle the limelight, and that might have been part of his downfall.
Well, the Kardashians do have a track record of kind of ruining men. I mean, well, she didn't kill Rob Kardashian.
Well, but you know what? Here's the thing, though, that I think about with them when people say that
Courtney,
they ruin men.
Scott Disick,
Chris Humphries, Reggie
Chris
Bush.
Humphries. You
But
see,
you know what
there's a
else
trend.
happens, though? Here's the thing, though. But when they're with these men, the men are at the highest of their career. Reggie won a Super Bowl. His career has been downhill since then.
Yes.
Chris Humphries was almost Sixth Man of the Year.
Almost.
He had the best career professionally of his life when he was with Kim.
Did he really?
Lamar won
He need to get
Sixth Man
back
of the
there,
Year
'cause
when he was with Khloe.
Wait, hold on. Were Lamar and Khloe together by that point?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Yes, they were. They married, I believe, in 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Something. Yeah.
It's been a second then. Okay. Well,
So you say the Kardashians give you a career boost?
They do, both personally and professionally. Now, what happens after the fact and the aftermath is something totally different.
We know what happens after the fact.
Yeah.
Downhill from there. Okay, well, prayers and thoughts and positive energy to Lamar. Again, the most recent reports suggest that he has opened his eyes and that he has said good morning, and that he's also said to Khloe, "I love you, baby," or I'm sorry, "Hey, baby." I just added that "I love you" in. I don't know,
maybe he could have.
Maybe he did say "I love you, baby."
You know,
We're breaking news
he asked
here.
for his children too, so that's important. Yeah, so I think that's important to mention because they've kind of been lost in all of this.
That is true. All right, now fantasy football.
Yes.
Fantasy football.
Not necessarily. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were jumping on to the other story. No, fantasy football.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
You can jump ahead. I mean, I'm not offended.
Go ahead.
Do you play fantasy football, Jill?
I do not play fantasy football. I observe. But I don't play yet. I'm not motivated. I'm still about the team and the total combined, not separating it out.
Okay.
But I understand the fun of it.
Now, Josh plays fantasy football.
I do.
You do?
I do.
Are you winning right now?
I am winning.
Ooh,
really?
How many games have you lost?
I've lost one game.
Oh, I hate you.
It was very close. I was up by I think it was up like 50 going into Monday night.
Oh, wow.
And a couple of his players had career nights. And I lost by like one point. That's like the worst kind of loss you could have.
Skill.
Well, I play fantasy football too, and I think I'm 2-3 right now, so I'm having a bad year. But that's the great thing about DraftKings.com.
Yes.
Because with DraftKings.com, you don't have to be committed to a 16-week-long football team. You literally can change your fantasy football team every week. And the great thing about DraftKings.com is that it puts money in your pocket.
Ow.
A lot of money,
Puts money in your pocket. The
Yeah.
weekly top prizes are $1 million, and the overall grand prize is $2 million, I believe. So, you guys, if you do not play fantasy football like this one,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Jill.
I'm missing out. I might have to get involved
You
in
are
that. I mean,
missing
I
out.
could
It
use $1
makes the
million.
games more fun to watch.
You know, you might have to take some notes from the two experts here.
And especially if you're like, you want to root for an LA team and don't have one, at least if you play fantasy, it gives you, something to cheer for.
Something to cheer for. We will have a team soon, but that's another.
That's right. Okay, I like that. So, guys, make sure if you guys don't play fantasy football, or if you do, you need to go to DraftKings.com, and to make sure that they know that the lovely people at Black Hollywood Live sent you, use the promo code BLACK, and good luck. And as we said last week, when you win your $1 million, when you win your $500,
Share.
please tweet us and share us. Share the money with us. Break us off. Because after all, you wouldn't have gone there if it wasn't for us.
Ow.
Well,
Josh.
in keeping with football, the football theme, and also because it's October. In October, I hope you ladies know what October means.
Breast Cancer Awareness
And
Month.
Halloween
I hope
Horror
that
Nights.
You are okay. Besides that, but I hope that you are
Halloween.
taking the proper, precautions and doing everything you need to do for yourselves, ladies. But October
On
does
air?
mean
On air breast test?
Maybe later.
A future episode. I don't know.
Maybe later. Protect the tatas, ladies.
Yes, yes. And so because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're used to also seeing the NFL players wear pink.
Yes.
Pink everything. I've seen pink shoes, pink
sweatbands, black,
pink
eye
black, yeah.
Gloves, headbands.
Right. So they are big supporters of the breast cancer awareness movement, and one of the biggest supporters within in trying to get that going in the NFL with getting the pink cleats started was DeAngelo Williams back in 2009, and apparently he's having some trouble with the NFL because he would like to wear pink outside of October. Now, the reason this hits close to home to him is because his mother actually passed away last year with breast cancer, and he's had 4 aunts who have also suffered from the disease and passed away.
All before the age of 50, right?
Before the age of 50. His mom was 53, but his aunt's before the age of 50. And so he asked the NFL, hey, can I wear pink outside of October? The NFL said no. What do you guys think about that?
Okay. So I empathize. I empathize with DeAngelo because when something hits so close, when it's your mom, like your mom, like you want to honor your mom every chance you get, especially when she passes away so traumatically from something like breast cancer. But the NFL has rules. NFL has rules. NBA, every professional sport has a certain set of rules, and it's like, if you bend them and give certain allowances to one player for his mom, then what happens when someone's child passes away, and then someone else, and because the NFL has been traditionally a breast cancer awareness conscious league, I understand why they do it in October. But anything else outside of that where it starts messing up,
for more people to say, well, hey, he got away with it. Why can I do such and such for this particular special cause for me? So, yeah, I get it.
Jill, what do you think?
I agree with you. I think that as painful as it is, and you understand and you want to support the wearing of pink, I feel like there are other ways that he can honor her outside of not just pink, that there are things that he can do and is doing. I know he's getting mammograms for other women and things of that nature, where it's still paying homage to his mother's memory, but the rules are there to keep things sort of in line, and you kind of have to follow that. They set a month aside where you can honor and set it out for her, and then you can do other things to keep the message out there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be wrapped in pink involving your uniform. The message will still live.
In the second half of the story, in the bright spot of the story, he is furthering the cause on his own. He's got his pink nails, and I think he's got his hair painted pink in some areas.
Does he?
But the cool thing about this is his foundation, the DeAngelo Williams Foundation, is paying for the screening and aftercare of 53 women in, I believe it's North Carolina, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Paying for 53 mammogram screenings and aftercare for women who are either underinsured or uninsured as a tribute to his mother, who died at the age of 53. It's called 53 Strong for Sandra, which is his mother's name. And he's doing that to further her legacy and honor his commitment to the cause. And I think that's a really good thing, considering the stories we hear from the NFL a lot of the times. They don't really highlight enough the positives. And so we're, like last week we talked about Ryan Tannehill and making all this money, whatever he was saying to his practice squad teammates. But when you have a story like this where it's actually giving and supporting a good cause, and you're seeing it in action, but not just word, but in action, then it's something that should be highlighted. So we commend DeAngelo Williams and his fight against breast cancer and bringing more awareness.
I'm going to be a Debbie Downer for a second. Okay. When his mother passed away of breast cancer last year, only one person from the Panthers organization attended the funeral. It was Greg Hardy, who was on the exempt list because of his domestic dispute. Yes. And one thing that I think is really majorly wrong with that, you'll see pictures of Sandra, DeAngelo's mom, coming out of the tunnel because she was a breast cancer fighter for several years. And the Panthers organization incorporated her into their awareness efforts. But then she died, and no one attended the funeral.
That's really sad.
I have a problem with that.
It's really sad.
He had given several years, and even DeAngelo said that I've given my blood, my sweat, my tears, my injuries to this organization. And granted, it was off season, but it's the off season. Like Super Bowl had just wrapped up.
There's no
Y'all
excuse.
didn't go to the Super Bowl, Panthers.
Right.
Y'all had no reason to not be there a few weeks after the Super Bowl, after the football season ended, to support your teammate. So literally, shame on you. Shame on the Panthers organization From the top to the bottom.
Yeah, I agree with you there. No excuse for them since they had the off time. They could have made plans to attend the funeral. But hey, many of us have been affected by breast cancer and the craziness of the disease and the terribleness of it. So if you yourself have, then make sure go on Twitter and use the hashtag BHL Cares to shout out that person in your life who you want to honor, someone who may have passed away or someone who is currently fighting the disease. Go ahead and shout them out on Twitter, BHL Cares, use the hashtag, and also tag BHL Online in that tweet, and make sure you honor them by doing that.
And before you dip out, Josh, I know you're going to leave us really soon, but also when you're hashtagging BHL Online, go to JezebelMagazine.com and check out their article. It's A Million Pink Ribbons Has Done Nothing, and it talks about how breast cancer awareness almost doesn't help Black women as much as it does white women. And it goes into because Black women oftentimes are underinsured, or Black women are afraid of going to the doctor, and because of those reasons we don't catch it as early. So even though breast cancer awareness in October is so important, Black women oftentimes are still behind the 8 ball when it comes to breast cancer awareness and treating it early and beating the odds because we don't catch it early enough typically. So check out JezebelMagazine.com or Jezebel.com's article about that and get yourselves educated. Josh, you leaving us?
Hey, I gotta dip out.
Enjoy
I have
the show.
A previous engagement, and I gotta fight that traffic. Hopefully, it's cleared up by now.
We hope you make it.
He doesn't love us.
Thank you. I do, and I hope to see you guys next week. I hope I get that opportunity. But for now, hey.
You see how the men do?
You know, see how the men do? Jump man, the jump. They just go.
You are the jump man.
In and out. No rings.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, make sure you do what Josh says. BHL cares for breast cancer awareness. No, it's just me and Jill.
It's just the two of us, two ladies, giving you our perspective on sports.
We can make it if we try.
Just the two of us. I don't want to ruin it with my voice because it's quite not there.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
You
we'll
and
do
I.
that. So, as two Clipper fans,
yes,
this topic is kind of close to home for us. So, the Golden State Warriors, they are going into this season with a chip on their shoulders as champions because somehow, people want to attach an asterisk to their championship like Phil Jackson did with the Spurs years ago. The Warriors don't feel like they're getting the respect they deserve. It started with Doc Rivers basically saying that they had an easy path to the finals because all the teams that they faced were dealing with a lot of injuries. They didn't have to play the Spurs because the Clippers knocked them out. The Clippers did not make it to the Western Conference Finals because they were, kind of collapsed.
Devastating.
Knocked out.
Girl, it's devastating.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to talk about it. I'm still in recovery.
It's still hard to discuss.
It's very hard to discuss because it's just like what happened.
Do you want me to move? Should I move in?
No, you're good.
Okay.
This is live.
This is live.
Guys, these things happen on live
television. There you go. You guys are getting the behind the scenes scoop, the raw BHL online. You're welcome.
That's right. So back to our Clippers.
Yes.
The Warriors beat them 3-1 last year. Yes. And so Klay Thompson's response to Doc Rivers was like, yeah, we wanted to get that on, but the Clippers didn't handle their business. That's true. They did not.
Okay.
And so, the Warriors are feeling a lot of disrespect. Curry apologized for them winning and said, we're going to rectify that this year and see what it takes. So how do you feel about that?
Okay, first of all, I wrote a note in the notes. Steve Kerr, the coach, I said, good coach or good luck? So I want to start from the top or the middle of the organization, because the top obviously would be GMs and ownership. But let's start with the coaching staff. Okay. The Warriors organization, to me, or that team, owes so much to Mark Jackson.
They do.
It's not even funny.
They do.
I think that, first of all, let me answer your first question. Are the Warriors being disrespected? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I mean, I know you're supposed to have this certain reverence for the chants, but to me, and this is going to sound like I'm hating, but to me, their season still seems like so much of a fluke.
I mean, even when they played the Cavs, they were without Kevin Love, without Kyrie. Just LeBron was worn down. They did kind of have a charmed existence.
They did.
But they put in work during the season. I don't want to take anything away from them. I don't want to sound like that. They had the #1 record in the season. They beat most of the teams except for the Spurs, who beat them well.
Yes.
At the end of April, so that would have been interesting. But
I think Steve Kerr got lucky.
Yeah.
He inherited a Mark Jackson built team. Now, I will give him this. He did something that Mark Jackson did not do. He beefed up his coaching staff, which is what the owners and the GMs really wanted Mark Jackson to do. He did not take the carte blanche that was given to him. So that was Mark Jackson's fault. But as far as the talent on the court, that's Mark Jackson's team. I'll give one more credit to Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr did help Klay Thompson develop his inside game a little bit better.
Two credits.
What's the other credit?
He got Andre Iguodala to come off the bench.
Andre
he definitely
that.
thought he was a starter. That was going to be a situation. Harrison Barnes, there's a couple of pieces.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think that was key in shoring up their bench play.
But have you ever read Malcolm Gladwell's The Outliers?
Yes.
I feel as if every little single thing just fell in place. As you said, the Warriors had a charmed existence last year. Every little single thing fell in place. They didn't have the injuries that they had traditionally had the years before. Steve Kerr had the best of the best when it came to his assistants. Klay and Steph just happened to be hot every single night. And I'm not saying that those guys are not talented. I'm not saying that Steve Kerr is not smart.
Andrew Bogut showed up.
And I'm not saying that they are not talented and athletic and smart, because they are. But everything went right.
It did.
Everything went right that could have gone right. Okay.
So obviously we feel the Clippers are still a contender for them in the Western Conference. Who else?
Okay.
Who else do you feel the same?
So when I'm looking at who I think will be the Warriors' biggest competition, I'm going to have this is my cop-out prediction. Okay. I think the Clippers, Spurs, Warriors, and OKC all have equal chances of being the top number one. I really do. I mean, the Clippers have everybody on their team.
No respect for Houston.
No respect for Houston.
Really?
No respect for Houston. Let me tell you why. James Harden, first of all, that whole little BS about, I should have been the MVP. Really, dude? Like, what?
Okay, so
what?
Here's my thing.
Okay.
Here's my thing. I love Steph Curry. I was so happy that he won the MVP, but it was very close between him and James Harden, because here's the thing. James went a significant stretch without Dwight Howard, who was their marquee player, in theory, before James got there. He was the key piece. So he carried that team. They had a winning record. On the other hand, the Warriors didn't have that experience because, as you just said, for the first time in a couple of seasons, injuries weren't a problem for them.
It's true.
So, I feel like you could have gone either way with it. And I just look at the fact that the players voted for Harden this summer as the MVP. And it's not like Curry is a guy that people want to turn away from or anything like that. I feel like either one of them could have got it, but I'm not mad at James saying, I'm the best and I deserved it. That's what a winner does.
Let me tell you why James Harden's not the MVP.
Okay.
When you, and I'm making a generalization, I always have to make my disclaimer, when 80% of your game consists of doing like this to get a foul called on you, and all your points are coming, again, a generalization, all your points are coming from the free throw line. I'm sorry, like Steph Curry, he might be a little bit less dimensional because he shoots so much from the outside, but that's way more exciting than watching somebody go to the free throw line 100 times a game.
So is it about excitement, or is it about the points that are scored to make you, to put you in that position? He put himself in a position so that he could get to the free throw line, and unlike Dwight, he made his free throws.
Listen, to me, basketball is not only a sport, it is entertainment. And It is not entertaining watching somebody shoot 100 free throws a night. James Harden, you are not the MVP. As a matter of fact, you are not the MVP because Steph Curry is.
Ow.
Okay. I'm off my soapbox about that.
And amazing soapbox it was. So let's go a little left.
Okay.
We're going to go a little left. I know you guys teased this topic last week.
Yes.
So we're going to, kind of go on to it for this week. Do you think, now obviously 2 weeks ago we heard about the situation between Matt Barnes, Knicks head coach Derrick Fisher, former teammate of Barnes with the Lakers, 2010 to 2012, and Matt's estranged wife, because they're not divorced yet.
They're not divorced, no.
Gloria Govan. There's some type of
relationship,
Gloria. Friendship.
Love you, girl.
Love you. Basketball wives. Gloria, you keep them coming. You keep them.
Listen, I really do love Gloria. I've interviewed her several times, and she's a really sweet person.
Beautiful.
Sweet person. And she's beautiful, inside and out.
So do you think that it's ever okay for an ex-teammate, former, friend, someone in the same profession to date an ex-wife?
Someone in the same profession or someone in the same team?
Someone in the same team, really. But here's the thing. Derrick and Matt are no longer teammates, but Matt said he considered him a friend.
here's my thing with this. To be specific about, is it okay for ex-teammates to date each other's exes, essentially? I think it depends on the circumstances. I think every situation is contingent upon were you guys really friends? Were Matt and Derrick Fisher really friends? You can work with somebody and see them every and not be friends.
True.
So let's say you're working, I don't know, at In-N-Out. I just threw In-N-Out Burger out there because I'm craving it. You're working at In-N-Out Burger, and someone who's cooking the fries, and let's say you handle the milkshakes, whatever, and her man is sexy. Her man is sexy. And you guys see each other in passing. You guys spend a lot of time with each other. You guys have to go to work meetings together. But you guys are not like BFF. So when you start working at McDonald's,
you can come back and date her friend.
You can date a boyfriend.
I mean, I'm with you on that. But Matt said he felt that Derrick was a friend.
Of course Matt's going to say that.
Do you think? I find Matt to be pretty honest. I find Matt that he will own his BS. If he is kind of on something kind of to the left, he'll say, hey, I was in a moment. I was in my feelings. I believe, he said his son FaceTimed him. He wasn't doing the 95 South that we heard. He said he was about 15 minutes away, Marina Del Rey to the Valley. Obviously, it wasn't a night like tonight.
Because let me tell you, if he was trying to get down to where he went to confront Derrick Fisher, and tonight, you wouldn't have gotten there till tomorrow.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen. So we think that Fisher is in the right in this situation.
I'm joking.
As a coach, what do we think?
I don't think Derrick Fisher did anything wrong. Unless Matt and Derrick were really friends. Because think about how many people play with Kobe who don't really like Kobe. And I'm just taking it to like the extreme.
But are they dating his wife?
No, they're not dating his wife. But if they had a chance, would they?
Likely.
You know what I'm saying?
Possibly.
So, again, if Matt and Derrick were really friends, as Matt has suggested, then then it's wrong. But like you said, Matt seems like an honest person. Derrick seems like an honest person too. No?
I mean, I don't know.
What do you know?
I don't know anything. I just think back to how he was the president of the National Basketball Players Association during the lockout. And there are some players or some rumors that feel that Derrick wasn't totally in for the players, which is why he was removed from that post. We don't know if that's true or not. We know that there were lawsuits that followed up, and they're still going through that process. I mean, I obviously am a Derrick Fisher fan. Mm-hmm. Lakers, every championship, 96 draft. I've watched him ascend and, his career, and it's been on the fast track. I think he just made a bad decision because, Matt's volatile. Even if that's not your friend, let's say you don't consider him a friend.
Okay.
You know how Matt and Gloria get down. You know that they play things out in the press a lot. You know that can be a volatile situation. And when you're in New York,
okay,
and given the coaching situation there, you just filed for a divorce in March. And let's take it a step further. There are some weird, not even 6-degree separations in this whole situation. Derrick's stepson is his new little sister is related to Gloria. It's all. Thank you. I don't know. I was just like, I wasn't sure. Sorry, we were just having a moment. Little insight thing. But there's just all these complicated family relations where Gilbert Arenas, who was Matt's brother-in-law, is now the father of a child with Derrick's son's father. Yeah. Like, it's just all messy. It's just very, very messy. And I feel like these things. The situation that they're very social media involved. Why would you put yourself in that situation?
Okay, well, here's the thing. We don't know outside of the public's image, outside of the social media, outside of the television shows. We don't know what kind of foundation Derrick and Glo have built,
True.
And we're looking at it like, oh my God, why would he do that? That's so messy. But, Gloria's been around Derrick for years. And again, Derrick to me seems like, a nice enough guy. He seems, again, I'm speculating, I don't know.
Right.
If you really, really want to get down to the nitty gritty and be 100% judgmental, then they're all wrong. Gloria could have been like, no, you dated, you were on my ex-husband's team, or my soon-to-be ex-husband's team. And she could have said no too.
True.
And of all the women in the world, did you have to go for Gloria? Well, I'm going to say, obviously, they have some kind of background, some kind of history that makes it worth it to him. Or maybe Derrick is taking the Lamar Odom, Chris Humphries route, trying to date a celebrity slash socialite because he knows
New York.
Because he knows his time in New York is going to be short lived. So let me do something to boost my career. So when I get fired from coaching the Knicks, I'm still in the public eye.
Do you think that Derrick makes it through the entire season as Knicks head coach?
If the Knicks stay above 500 or at least teeter on 500 I think throughout the season, and we all know how the East is, you can be a 500 team and be the 8th seed.
True.
If he does that, I think he'll keep his job.
Interesting.
What about you?
I think that he's going to make it through the season, but I think that if somehow Phil gets removed, because I think the target is more so Phil at this moment than Derrick. I think Derrick is kind of almost a lame duck in a way. It's just people are kind of glossing over him being there as an extension. I think that how Derrick will go as Phil goes. And I think that this season, even though it's only his second, is going to be really crucial for Phil.
Okay. So you guys have to keep watching to see if our predictions are on point.
Yes.
And because we're so smart, they of course will be
absolutely
on point. Yes. That was a quick show tonight.
We're short tonight, really quick.
I know, short on topics and short on hosts.
Right, we're missing part of us, but we'll be all back.
We'll be back. Make sure you guys remember to do hashtag BHL cares to honor breast cancer victims, or just to bring more awareness to breast cancer, and to remind people that we at Black Hollywood Live are in with you guys in the fight with breast cancer.
Save the tatas.
Save the tatas. You're watching Black Hollywood Live's The Branded Athlete. Make sure you keep checking back for updates and for the show. And for us next week, I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Twitter and
I was about to jump in and interrupt Erica. Let's let Erica keep her flow, because you need to follow her. Don't just look at it and say, "Oh, that's nice." Hit the follow button.
Hit the follow button at Erica Renee D on Twitter and on Instagram. Jill.
I am Stiletto Jill on Twitter and Instagram. Jill Monroe. Make sure you follow me and say hi. Let us know how you like the show.
And make sure you follow Black Hollywood Live.
Absolutely.
At BHL Online on Twitter. And like I said, keep watching, keep checking us out, follow us, like us, subscribe, comment, iTunes. Also, they can download this episode on iTunes.
Make sure you hit that too.
Okay. Until next week, guys, this is The Branded Athlete. See ya.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.